I was a government scholar of the Carl Duisberg Gesellschaft that is from Cologne. I was given this in I left Manila December 1968. I was with a group of 8 scholars or trainees. They call them trainees to the Federal Republic of Germany. Then we have different specializations that we have to train on. And mine was librarianship and documentation. When we reached Germany, we were received in Saarbrücken. That is a big reception center for all the scholars for that year. And then they gathered together there. At the time we were there, we were around 2,000 scholars. And they, after one month of orientation and then asking them about their language trainings, then they are distributed to the different training centers in the whole Republic of Germany. My father's from the army, and then when I left, he was in the PC. He was. And we, the children, we decided to stay in Manila because we were all, we wanted all the older children. I'm the second of 10 children, and those already in the college were started in the UP in Diliman. But I'm one of the older children, and we started from my brother. We started in the UP High in Diliman also. Since I was here in 1968 December, and then I stayed for my. It was actually a 16 months training in Germany, but I extended it to finish a crash course in. Diploma for documentation, and I returned to Manila. I was a government employee in Manila. I returned for 1 year, 1971, and I left again for Germany. I came back to Germany in March 1972. Okay. So I stayed here. All in all, including my training period, is around 44 years already in Germany. Yeah, before, because I was first assigned to Berlin, it was a different situation because there were very few Filipinos in Berlin before, because of the difficulty of going in and out of. It is an island. Berlin is an island, so the transportation going to West Germany, they call it, outside of Berlin, was difficult. You have to go through different borders of the communist borders. Even going to visit East Berlin was difficult before. You have to apply for a pass, you know, for a 1-day pass or 2 days pass. But normally we just go there early to visit the relatives of my husband, and come back in the evening. Otherwise, we have difficulty when we don't cross the border before 12 o'clock in the night. I was one of those lucky enough because of my training. I was able to go around the whole of Germany. And then, naturally, for my library science and documentation, I trained in several cities, so I met many of the Filipinas or the Filipinos around. And in the North Rhine-Westphalian areas, when we were when we had language training, 4 months language training in Dortmund, there were many Filipinas who came as nurses and medtechs. Yeah, and maybe some of those who trained in taking care of old people. But then like also in Hamburg, I trained in Hamburg too. So there were many, and in Berlin the Filipinos there were the American soldiers, and some who came already during the exchange programs for doctors and nurses. They mostly were working in the U.S. Army reservation and also the Army hospital. So, in Berlin, we are used to meeting our presidents. I was president of the Filipino Association before, when his mother came, Coria Aquino, and we had a big reception, but she stayed only a few hours in Berlin. She came around 11 o'clock, and we had dinner in the president's palace in Bellevue, and then shortly after she had to leave for Bonn, because in the afternoon there was a big mass and gathering in Aachen, where they held a big mass, and most of the Filipinos were there, but I was ordered not to go there, because I have to see about the security situation around Berlin. If I have to report some, demonstrations, because it was before the, how there were many of these communist groups around the East Berlin areas. I would rather stay here because my husband is German. My daughter was born here, but at the moment she's married to a German also. He's professor in Cambridge, and they're living in Cambridge. And I have 2 grandchildren already, and we go back and forth there to visit them.